Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about the match between Barcelona and Levante. Barcelona is going to be playing at the Camp Nou, and this is going to be actually Barcelona trying to find their first win since August 29th, which is almost 1 month ago. We know that the players want to get back on track. We want these players to be back on track. Many are looking forward towards a great result tomorrow night, because if we get a great result, we win 3-0, 4-0 or whatever that scoreline may be, is going to be a great thing to see, because Atletico Madrid about a couple of hours ago, they have just lost 3 points by losing 1-0. So if Barcelona can grab a win tomorrow night against Levante, they could enter within the top 5 in the league and still having 1 game less than Atletico Madrid. We do have a big chance to actually make a very big comeback by the end of this year. But let's first start with the first step, which is going to be against Levante. We have to get this win. So we are going to be talking about the squad list, what is the possible starting 11, some interviews that Koeman had. All of this is going to be discussed within today's video. But before we go into that topic, I do want to talk about the OneFootball app. The OneFootball app is considered as the best football app you could find within the App Store. If you want to look at the latest player stats, team stats, how your team is currently performing during the league or in the Champions League, all of that is going to be compact into one app. And the best thing from all of this is that if you are in the UK, the OneFootball app is going to officially start showing La Liga highlights. So if you do support Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, FC Barcelona, the highlights is going to be there within the OneFootball app. The link is going to be in the description box down below. You would also be able to support this channel. But now let's get back into the video. Now look, over the past 2 games that Barcelona has played against Levante, we do not have the best track record. We won against Levante 1-0, yes, but it was not the most convincing win. It took us so much for Barcelona to come out with 3 points. And then moving on towards the second game against Levante, we tied against this club 3-3. And this was around a time where Barcelona really did need 3 points in order to win La Liga in the previous season. So it was never easy to actually pull off a great result against Levante. So could Barcelona actually pull off a win? It's really going to be depending on how Koeman has his players. Are they motivated? Are their roles being communicated very well? Because over the past 24 to 38 hours, there has been nothing but uncertainty. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there has always been that feeling within this club that Koeman is more disconnected from Barcelona more than ever. Because we have heard reports about Xavi wanting to return, that the board members are finally very convinced that Xavi Hernandez is the answer, that Xavi Hernandez should be the next manager to replace Ronald Koeman. They have made their decision, and Joan Laporta is heading towards the exact same direction. So that feeling of a replacement, that Koeman may not be here for very long, that feeling is looming around this club. And that is why I do say today that right now it is more important than ever to be together to get a good result against Levante, because we badly do need this. But now let's move on towards the squad list, and this is where things get very exciting. Like, this is where it brings a very huge smile to my face, because earlier today, about a couple of hours ago, maybe about 5 to 6 hours ago, we finally got some confirmation, my friends. And I know you guys know exactly what I am going to be talking about, and that is about Ansu Fati receiving the green light. Yes, you heard that right. Ansu Fati has received the green light after being out for a total of 10 months. Can you believe that? He is on this squad list. If you could look at the bottom left corner, he is on there right next to Dembele and Memphis Depay and Neto. And notice one thing, Ansu Fati is not just there on the squad list, but he is there with the number 10 right next to his name. Like, look how weird that looks. Like, it looks weird just for a moment, but after a while we are going to be getting used to it. But it is so exciting to see Ansu Fati back. Like, I know I continue to say this, but it is just so exciting to finally see our future of this club finally take part within this season. Now, I don't want to overhype this player. Let's not overhype Ansu Fati right now, because let's not expect that Ansu Fati is going to be scoring 3 goals against Levante and then 4 goals against Benfica. Let's not get into that position, right? I know for a fact that Ansu Fati is going to be slowly implemented into this squad. It is going to be taking time for him to get into match rhythm. There has also been some reports that Ansu Fati may only play about 15 to 20 minutes for the next 3 to 4 matches. Who knows? But there is a certain plan that this club does have to follow for this player. So if anything, I think that Ansu Fati against Levante, he is going to be subbed in than actually being subbed out, if that's really going to be the case. But we are officially, right, in this game against Levante, we are officially stepping into Barcelona's future. We are officially stepping into the next phase of Ansu Fati's career. And Ansu Fati did have an interview basically explaining that how injuries make a player mature, also explaining how his brother continued to ask him, when is he going to play? When is he going to go back to the Camp Nou and score some goals? And how he got emotional every time people and his brother continued to ask him. He also talked about how he wanted to thank his family and friends for always supporting supporting him throughout this very difficult moment, him not playing for 10 months and being a young player, that does not correlate very well with each other. So I completely get it. But one thing really did stand out to me that really did touch every fan of FC Barcelona, and this is what Ansu Fati had to say, and I quote, "The first day I touched the ball in recovery, I started to cry. My father and my brother came to training and they also started to cry. I thank the club and the teammates for letting me wear the number 10 shirt. It is a challenge because Messi, Ronaldinho at Barcelona, you always have to be prepared for everything." So this really does show you that this means a lot to him. To finally make his debut for the first time since being injured, this is something that his family has been wanting to see. And you can also see that when it comes to a long-term injury, and that long-term injury is on a young player, it really does hinder the player's emotions. But you better bet one thing, I do believe that Ansu Fati is coming back into this squad with more enthusiasm to be successful more than ever. I do think that he is going to be wanting to make this season that we are in his best season yet, and I cannot wait to see what he could do and bring to the table under Ronald Koeman's FC Barcelona. But speaking about Koeman, let's talk about Koeman's press conference just for a second, because Koeman did have a press conference. He did speak about Ansu Fati and he said this: "The return of Ansu is very important. He has been away for a long time and we follow a plan to give him minutes. If all goes well, starting tomorrow, he will play a maximum of 15 minutes. Then he continued to talk about how the players are complaining about the schedules within this season, and this is what he said, and I quote, "It seems perfect to me that the players complain about that. Coming back from Cadiz, it's almost 48 hours just for Sunday. The players defend themselves, and I think it's great that I don't always have to be the coach to defend the players." Now, again, to be honest, like I do not even want to get into this conversation, because if you really want to complain about the schedules from this season, like, you're not the only club that is dealing with a tight schedule. Like Chelsea have a tight schedule, they're playing every 3 to 4 days, maybe even 2 or 3 days. City have a tight schedule, Real Madrid have a tight schedule, Bayern have a tight schedule, Inter Milan also have a tight schedule. Now, what are they getting from this? They're having tight schedules, but they're still putting out great results. They're still coming out with great wins and with tougher oppositions. Like, I just think that with this whole tight schedule thing and how he believes that it is okay for the players to complain about the schedule, that is just an excuse, right? I just don't want to go further into detail about that because it's going to make this video even longer. I do believe that the only thing that's going wrong here is the bad management coming from FC Barcelona. The best way to fix this is to actually finish the game early, like against Levante, Granada, Cadiz, and then play the other players in order for your starting players to not get injured, right? Because if Barcelona were actually winning 3-0, 4-0 before the second half even started, you could have subbed out Pedri and put in Ricky Puig and reserved Pedri for the next game, and then he would have never been injured. This is exactly what City, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, and many other clubs do, and they're doing very well. Then Ronald Koeman continued to talk about Gavi, and this is what he had to say: "There are very good young players with a great future. Gavi may play tomorrow because we only have 17 outfield players available. We are very limited, and Gavi has shown in a very short time that he has a place in this team." So Koeman is basically hinting that Gavi may get a start tomorrow night against Levante, which ultimately does lead towards our predicted starting 11. What could be the possible starting 11 that Koeman could place on the field? So I am going to go with Marc-Andre ter Stegen in goal. Our back four is going to be Mingueza as the right back, Araujo and Garcia as the center back duo, Dest as the left back, because again, we do not have Jordi Alba or Alejandro Balde. As for the midfield, I do expect to see Busquets in the central defensive midfield role, Gavi as a interior, Sergio Roberto as the other interior. Now, if you were to ask me, I would not place Sergio Roberto in the midfield. I would place Ricky Puig, but I do expect Sergio Roberto to start in the midfield because Koeman highly does favor this player for whatever reason. As for the front three, I do expect to see Demir as the right winger, Memphis as the striker, and Coutinho as the left winger. Now, here's where things get very interesting, right? Because we know that Ansu Fati is going to be playing about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, how could that starting 11 look like if Ansu Fati were to come into this match? And here's going to be my actual dream starting midfield and starting front line if Koeman decides to go for it within those last 20 minutes. I want to see Nico Gonzalez coming for Busquets. I want to see Ricky Puig coming in for Sergio Roberto, and that front three being Ansu Fati on the left, Memphis as the striker, and the mid on the right. This is a midfield and a front line where they could produce great results. This is actually a starting front line and midfield that can actually carry Barcelona for the next 3 to 4 games. Like, Ronald Koeman was complaining how in the game against Cadiz, they lacked creating chances and that he believes that he needs wingers in order to produce those chances. Like, here you go. You have Ansu Fati on the left and the mid on the right. Memphis Depay can also switch to the left side, and Ansu Fati can also play as a striker. And you're also going to be having Riqui Puig and Gavi, who are going to outpass the hell out of every other midfielder from the opposition. Like, Riqui Puig and Gavi will create the most chances in this game. It would be something that many of us would love to see. But let me know what you guys think about this starting 11, and who do you see starting within the starting 11, and how would you like to place Ansu Fati later in this game? Should he play as a striker, as a left winger, as a right winger, or could we possibly see a 4-4-2 with Ansu Fati being that second fiddle to the striker? Let me know in the comment sections down below. That is going to be wrapping up today's Barcelona pre-match preview. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.